All right, let's talk about one of the most famous scenes in all of theater. We're diving into Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus to figure out what happens when a man literally decides his own soul as a fair price to pay for ultimate power.
So, let's get inside the head of Dr. Faustus. I mean, this is a guy who has mastered, well, everything. He's reached the absolute pinnacle of human knowledge, and you'd think he'd be happy, right? Nope. He feels trapped, empty, and honestly, he's just really, really bored.
Okay, so picture this. We're in Faustus' study. He's literally surrounded by the sum total of human wisdom, books everywhere. And in the middle of all this knowledge, he's having a full-blown existential crisis. He feels like he's completed the game, you know? He's reached the end of the line for knowledge, and now he's got to figure out, what's next?
He's basically talking to himself here, giving himself a pep talk. Like, come on, Faustus, stop messing around and just pick something. So he decides to go through the major fields of study, one by one, to see if any of them, can actually live up to his massive, limitless ambition.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Faustus just systematically takes down the four main pillars of Renaissance learning. It's like a process of elimination, but it's one that's going to lead him to a pretty terrifying conclusion about what humans are actually capable of. First up on the chopping block is logic, or what they called analytics back then. The art of a good argument. And let's be clear, this is his turf. He's famous for it. He's always the smartest guy in the room, the master of debate. But what's the point? He's basically asking, is that all there is? Just winning arguments? To him, it's just a cheap parlor trick. It's not real, tangible power. He's already won all the arguments he could ever have, so he's bored. Logic throws it right out. All right, next up, medicine. And again, we're not talking about some small-time doctor. He admits he's famous. This is a guy whose cures have saved entire cities from the plague. He is at the absolute top of his game. But here's the thing. Even with all that skill, he's still just Faustus. Still just a man. He's mortal, and medicine can't change that. It can't make people live forever, and it sure can't raise the dead. So, because it can't beat death, he sees it as just limited, useless to him.
So after medicine, he gives law a look. He picks up a book by Justinian, the Roman emperor. I mean, this is basically the foundation of all European law. It's a big deal.
And he pretty much scoffs at it instantly. He sees law as this boring, kind of grubby job for people who just argue about money and who gets what in a will. In his mind, it's totally beneath a genius like him. It's all just external trash. Okay, so finally he gets to the big one, divinity, theology. He picks up a Bible. Now, in his world, this is supposed to be it, right? The ultimate source of all wisdom, the pinnacle of every study. This has got to be the answer.
But Faustus, he doesn't read the Bible like a normal person. He reads it in this really specific, twisted way. He cherry-picks a line that says, the reward of sin is death. Then he finds another that says, all people are sinners. And he slams them together to conclude that, well, everyone is just automatically damned. He totally, conveniently ignores all the parts about forgiveness, grace, and redemption.
And just like that, in the span of a few minutes, he's done. He delivers his final judgment on all of human knowledge. Logic, no real power. Medicine, can't be death. Law, for small-minded people. And divinity, well, the way he reads it, it just leads to everlasting death. So everything is useless.
So if every single conventional path is a dead end, where do you go? Well, Faustus' mind turns to something dark, something thrilling, something completely forbidden.
And this line, wow, it shows just how total his shift is. "'Tis magic, magic, that hath ravished me." That word, ravished, it's so intense. He's not just curious, he's been completely taken over, completely captivated by this new desire. And then he calls these dark magic books heavenly, a complete 180 from everything divinity is supposed to be about.
And right here, this is it. This is the heart of his ambition. It was never just about being smart or powerful. He truly believes that with magic, a regular guy, a sound magician, can become a mighty god. We're talking full-on omnipotence right here on Earth.
So at this absolutely critical tipping point, that little voice inside his head, that internal conflict, it literally appears on stage. We get two angels, a good one and an evil one, and they're each making their final pitch for his soul.
The choice couldn't be clearer.
You have the good angel pleading with him, "Oh, Faustus, lay that damned book aside, read the scriptures." And then you have the evil angel whispering in his other ear, "Go forward, be thou on earth as Jove is in the sky." So there it is, save your soul and go to heaven, or become a god right here on earth.
And which one do you think he listens to? Of course, he ignores the warning. He instantly becomes, and I love this phrase, glutted with conceit. He's just absolutely drunk on the thought of everything he's about to do.
And his imagination just explodes. He's got these grand designs. Fly to India for gold, search the whole ocean for pearls, wall off all of Germany with brass. But what's so telling, what's so human about it, is how he mixes these huge, godlike plans with really petty stuff. Like, he wants to reroute rivers, sure, but he also just wants to chase some rival politician, the Prince of Parma, out of the country. It shows you he's aiming for godhood, but he's still stuck on petty human squabbles.
And that's it. The decision is made. The die is cast. And to make it official, to seal the deal, he calls up his buddies Valdez and Cornelius, a couple of guys who already know their way around the dark arts, to help him get started right away.
At this point, there is absolutely positively no turning back. He just starts verbally burning every single bridge to his old life. Philosophy is odious. Law and medicine are for petty wits. And divinity, he calls it the basest of the three. Everything he once was, his whole identity as a scholar, he just tosses it in the garbage.
And then he says this final, chilling line. "This night I'll conjure, though I die therefore." He's completely committed. He knows exactly what's at stake, his own soul, his own damnation. But that hunger for power is just so overwhelming that he willingly, with eyes wide open, steps right into the abyss.
You know, Faustus made this choice over 400 years ago, but it leaves us with a question that feels like it could have been written yesterday. When does ambition go too far? When does that drive for knowledge, for power, turn self-destructive? It really makes you wonder, what's the price we're willing to pay for what we want most?